Alright, we're doing another tomato review today, and it's going to be on this tomato right here, and this is called the Jaune Flammée Tomato. I believe that's how you say it. I'm not sure if it's pronounced a little bit differently, but that's how we're going to say it for the video. And we'll put the correct spelling in the title and description. You can always transcribe it yourself and pronounce it whatever way you want. So, here it is, and this tomato's got some interesting aspects to it. Give you a better look at it. Got some backlight going, so hopefully that helps. And so you can see it's like a Campari sized tomato, or globe tomatoes, not too big. It's like an extra large cherry. For the most part, they mostly get to this size, which is like an extra large cherry. Alright. And they go from like a yellow color like this, which is still kind of on the unripe side, but it's actually ripe. And if you leave them on your counter long enough, they will eventually turn orange like this. But you can't eat them in the yellow stage. In fact, the one that I cut is like in between, right, in between the yellow and the orange. It's not fully ripe because you can see the seeds are still green. But that's it right there. And I'm not too familiar with the tomatoes background, so I will leave the information in the description, and you could go to my website and read about it in that description there as well as the one in the video. So let's do a bricks test on it, and then we can elaborate a little bit on the. It's very juicy, I can tell you that. It's about 3.5. It's really low, which means it's going to be tangy and tardy. That's what that means to me for a tomato that size. But let's give this one a try. Straight out the gate, we'll get right to the what I think of it as far as the taste goes. Now, this is one of the lesser ripe ones. It's still kind of yellow, so this one really might be really tardy. So, you know, we'll have to see how it tastes like that. But I'm trying it like in the mid stage, and then of course I got a full ripe one we can taste that one. Well, so far there's really no sweetness in it at all. Maybe because it's not fully ripe. See, like I always say, I always try to encourage you to let your tomatoes ripen all the way, because the starches need to convert over to sugars, and we're in the middle of that stage right now. So let me try the other half. Yeah, there's not much flavor in it. Let's try cutting this one in half. This one's fully ripe. This one's actually been out for a while. So let's give that one a cut. Give you a look at the inside. Nice inside. It's a bi-chamber, this one. They can either buy or tri-chamber. No look here. Nice tomato. It's a pretty good producer. I mean, I got several bracts on there of about 5 tomatoes per bract, about that size. So it's pretty good. It's still growing. If the blight wipes it out early, well, you know, you're not going to get that many tomatoes. That's not the tomatoes variety's fault. That's just, you know, that's just the way it goes in gardening sometimes. Let's give that a test. Much smoother. Yeah, a little bit of sweetness more on that one. Skins were a little tough, but again, this tomato is super ripe, so the flesh really dissolves very quickly, and I'm left with just a skin bag. So it's kind of hard to chew up and then do these reviews. But the tomato itself was actually pretty good. It had a pretty good balance of sweet and tangy. It was a little bit on the tardy side as well, so it gives you that little bit of a mouth-watering effect. But the sweet and the tangy, I'd probably say it was maybe 25 on the sweet side, and maybe 30 on the tangy side. And then, of course, there was a little bit of a tardiness that follows with that, which waters your mouth. So there was a little bit of a tardiness in there, not by much, but just enough. And then it was very watery because, I let these ripen all the way. And when you do that, they tend to get very watery. Let's eat this other half. So far, it's a good tomato. I like it. And believe me, if it's not a good tomato, guys, I tell you. I tell you, all right? So let's give that one a bite. You know what's weird about this tomato is the tomato flavor itself. The tomato flavor itself has a funny kind of almost candy-like flavor, but without the overwhelming sweetness. If you could picture a piece of candy, maybe a Jolly Rancher without too much of the tardiness, the same level of tardiness. It's a slightly tardy and flavor, but no sweetness that follows it. It's a little weird like that. There's a kind of a candy-like flavor to it. It's very interesting. But it's a good tomato, and you know, I'm trying these out. I'm trying out a lot of new brands of tomatoes and new varieties, and I can't say I'm going to love every variety, but so far, some of the ones I've been doing this year are pretty good. Some of them are a little low on the tangy, you know, they're low on the sweet side, but that might either be the soil that I'm using, or it could just be that that's the kind of tomatoes that I got. They're a little bit on the tangy side, and in some cases that works pretty good for tomatoes, especially for sauce tomatoes. But in some cases it's not so much. Some people like to just eat cherry tomatoes like a snacking tomato, and they may not necessarily care for that, you know, over tangy, over tardiness to it. So that's understandable. But it's a great tomato. You know, if I don't offer it on my website, I mean, I'll leave links in the description below. I may or may not offer it. Depends on how much I get in seeds. And if I get enough seeds, I'll offer it. But if not, just do a search for it. You'll find it somewhere online. And, you know, I'll do my best to make them available. But, yeah, it's a good tomato. Give it a go. I think it's, if you give it really good soil, you add a lot of lime to that soil, and you grow it in a blight-free environment, you'll get more tomatoes than you know what to do with. It's a great producer, and I recommend it. I think it's a good tomato. All right, so that's it for your tomato review on the Jaune Flammée. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.